Embark on a mystical journey where ancient wisdom meets the whisper of the wind and the echo of eternity. In the pages of the Hua Hu Ching, Master Lao Tse, with his profound vision of the Tao, guides you through a path illuminated by simplicity and serenity. This text is an invitation to discover the secrets of nature, to understand the flow of the universe, and to embrace the stillness of being. With every word you will feel how the barriers of time and space dissolve, and how, like water, your spirit begins to flow in harmony with the Tao. Lao Tse, in his infinite wisdom, leads you toward a deep understanding of life, revealing the hidden teachings at the heart of nature and within the depths of your own being. Prepare to immerse yourself in an ocean of knowledge that, though ancient, remains as relevant and vibrant as the first breath of the cosmos. This is not just a reading, but a transformative experience that will allow you to find the peace, wisdom, and inner balance that the Tao offers to those who dare to listen. The Tao calls to you. Respond to the whisper of its eternal wisdom. Teachings of the Tao. The Integral Path. I teach the integral path of unity with the great and mysterious Tao. My teachings are simple. If you attempt to turn them into a religion or a science, they may seem profound. Yet, though simple, they contain the entire truth of the universe. Those who seek the whole truth take joy in performing the tasks and services that come their way. Once these are completed, they delight in cleansing and nourishing themselves. After tending to themselves, they return to the Master for guidance. This simple path leads to peace, virtue, and abundance. Practices of the integral way. Men and women who wish to be fully aware of the truth must adopt the practices of the integral way. These sacred disciplines calm the mind and foster harmony with all things. The first practice is indiscriminate virtue, care for those who deserve it, and equally for those who do not. When you extend your virtue in all directions without discrimination, your feet are firmly planted on the path leading back to the Tao. Acceptance of all. Those who seek to embody the Tao must accept everything. Acceptance means first not harboring anger or resistance toward any idea or living being, whether formed or formless, living or dead. Acceptance is the true essence of the Tao. Accepting all also means stepping away from any concept of separation, man and woman, self and other, life and death. Division contradicts the nature of the Tao. By renouncing antagonism and separation, one enters the harmonious unity of all things, purification through virtue. Departing from the Tao taints the spirit. Anger, resistance, and self-absorption are such departures. Over many lives, the burden of these contaminations grows heavy. The only way to cleanse oneself is to practice virtue. What does this mean? Practicing virtue is selflessly helping others, offering one's time, abilities, and possessions wherever they are needed, without any prejudice toward the recipient's need. If your willingness to bring happiness is limited, so too will be your capacity to receive it. Harmony with the universe. Do you think the universe is chaotic? Go to the desert at night and gaze at the stars. This practice will answer your question. The superior person aligns their mind with the universe like stars arranged in the sky. By connecting the mind to its subtle origin, calm arises. Once calmed, the mind naturally expands, eventually becoming vast and immeasurable like the night sky. Living the Tao. The Tao gives rise to all forms, but itself has no form. If you try to picture it in your mind, you will lose it. It is like pinning a butterfly. You capture the shape, but lose the flight. Why not simply live it? Timeless teachings. The teachings of the integral way will continue as long as the Tao exists, and someone desires to embody it. Though these writings may take different forms in future generations, their essence will remain unchanged. Those who seek unity must practice virtue without distinction, dissolve all dualities, and free their minds from beliefs that hinder their perception of the universe as a harmonious whole. The beginning of these practices is the beginning of liberation. Beyond religion and science, I confess there is nothing to teach, neither religion nor science. My words are merely a reflection of your elevated mind. Today I speak in one way, tomorrow in another, but the integral way remains always beyond words and mind. It is simply awareness of the unity of all things, the futility of worldly admiration. Do you seek the admiration of the world? Amass a fortune and spend it, and the world will admire you according to the size of your wealth. Yet this makes no sense. Stop striving for admiration. Place your focus on the Tao. Live in harmony with it, share its teachings, and you will be showered with its blessings. Letting go of the ego. The ego is like a monkey leaping through the jungle, utterly captivated by the realm of the senses. It swings from one desire to another, one conflict to the next, one self-centered thought to another. Threaten it and it fears for its life. Let go of the monkey, release the senses, desires, conflicts, and ideas. Let go of the illusion of life and death. Simply remain at the center, observing, and then forget even that you are observing. Simplicity and unity. Are you drawn to one scent over another? Do you prefer one feeling to another? If your practice feels sacred and your work profane, your mind is divided. Free your mind from distinctions. When it is simple, detached, and silent, all things exist in harmony and you can begin to perceive subtle truth. Dwelling in the sacred. Do you wish to dwell in a sacred space, to be respected and accompanied by the highest spiritual beings and protected by the guardians of the 8 powerful rays of energy? Then cherish the integral way. Treat these teachings with reverence. Practice their truths and illuminate others with them. The blessings you receive from the universe will be as countless as grains of sand in the eternal river. The paradox of the vast and the minuscule. The tiny particles that form the vast universe are not truly tiny, nor is the vast universe truly vast. These are concepts of the mind, which, like a knife, continually narrows the scope of the Tao, trying to make it graspable and manageable. But what lies beyond form is ungraspable, and what is beyond knowledge is unmanageable. Yet here is solace. Those who let go of the knife will find the Tao at their fingertips, dissolving dualities. Can you dissolve your ego? Abandon the idea of self and other. Renounce concepts of man and woman, short and long, life and death. Can you release all dualities and accept the Tao without skepticism or panic? If so, you can reach the heart of integral unity. Along the way, avoid seeing unity as something extraordinary, elevated, sublime, or transcendent, for unity is beyond all these. It is simply the direct, essential, and total truth, tolerance and beyond. For the ordinary person, others often require tolerance. For the highly evolved, there is no concept of tolerance because there is no concept of other. They have abandoned all notions of duality and extend goodwill in all directions without prejudice, never hating, resisting, or fighting, always learning and being. Love, hatred, and expectations are all attachments, and attachment hinders the growth of the true self. Thus, the integral being is unattached to anything and can relate to anyone with an unstructured attitude. For this reason, their very existence benefits all things. As you can see, what has form is equal to what is formless, and what is alive is equal to what rests. This is subtle truth, not a religious invention. Only those who are highly evolved will understand. The trap of religion. Most religions reinforce attachments to false concepts such as self and other, life and death, heaven and earth. Those caught in these illusions cannot perceive integral unity. The supreme virtue is to take responsibility for uncovering and sharing total truth. Some help others for rewards and admiration, but this is meaningless. Some cultivate themselves partly to serve others and partly for pride. At best, they grasp half the truth. But those who improve themselves for the world will be revealed the entire truth of the universe. Seek the total truth, practice it in daily life, and share it humbly. This way, you will enter the realm of the divine. Worship and the Tao. Do not worship deities or religious institutions as sources of subtle truth. Doing so places intermediaries between yourself and the divine, turning you into a beggar searching outward for a treasure hidden in your own heart. If you wish to worship the Tao, discover it first within your heart. Then, your worship will have meaning, methods and realization. There is no method to realize the Tao. To consider any method as the method creates duality, which only delays understanding of subtle truth. The mature person perceives the futility of rigid external methodologies. They maintain a flexible, unstructured attitude, remaining free to follow the integral way. They study the teachings of the masters, dissolve all concepts of duality, and dedicate themselves to serving others. They purify themselves inwardly and do not burden their master with unnecessary entanglements, thereby preserving a subtle spiritual connection with the master's divine energy. By gently removing obstacles to their own understanding, they cultivate unconditional sincerity, humility, perseverance, and adaptability, evoking the universe's response and becoming filled with divine light, unity beyond duality. To the ordinary person, humanity's collective body seems vast. In reality, it is neither greater nor lesser than anything else. To the ordinary person, some people's consciousness needs elevation. In truth, there is no self and no other. To the ordinary person, the temple is sacred while the field is not. This dualism opposes truth. The highly evolved maintain a perception free of distinctions, seeing everything without labeling anything. They sustain their awareness of the great unity and are upheld by it. Beyond psychic abilities, those who are clairvoyant may see forms everywhere but cannot see the formless. Those who are telepathic may communicate directly with another's mind but cannot communicate with one who has reached the state of no mind. Those who are telekinetic may move objects without touching them but cannot move the intangible. Such abilities are meaningful only in the realm of duality. Within the great unity, they are meaningless. Though there is no such thing as clairvoyance, telepathy, or telekinesis, all things are seen, understood, and always in their place. The fleeting nature of time. Every moment is fragile and fleeting. No matter how beautiful, moments of the past cannot be preserved. No matter how joyful, moments of the present cannot be kept. No matter how desirable, moments of the future cannot be grasped. The mind, desperate to fix the river in place, clings to past ideas or worries about future images, overlooking the simple truth of the present. Those who dissolve their minds will suddenly discover the Tao at their feet and clarity at hand. The divine unity everywhere. Can divine unity be seen in beautiful forms, famous wonders, or inspiring miracles? It is not bound to appear this way. It is always present and always available. When language is exhausted and the mind dissolves, it reveals itself. When clarity and purity are cultivated, it manifests. When sincerity is unconditional, it unveils itself. If you wish to live by it, you will see it everywhere, even in the most ordinary things. Supreme truth beyond words. The supreme truth cannot be expressed in words. Thus, the Supreme Master has nothing to say. Instead, they offer themselves in service and never concern themselves with the result. The subtle awareness of truth. The subtle awareness of the truth of the universe should not be considered an achievement. Thinking in terms of achievement places it outside your own nature, which is erroneous and misleading. Your nature and the entire nature of the universe are one and the same, indescribable yet eternally present. Simply open yourself to this. The simplicity of the integral way. Not all spiritual paths lead to harmonious unity. In fact, most are detours and distractions, and none are truly necessary. Why not trust the evidence and simplicity of the integral way? By living with unconditional sincerity, eradicating all duality, and celebrating the equality of all things, every moment will reside in truth. Two types of blessings and wisdom. There are two kinds of blessings, worldly blessings. Earned through good deeds, they relate to the mind and are confined to time and space. Integral blessings. Bestowed upon those who realize the great unity, they free you from the bonds of mind, time, and space, allowing you to soar through the boundless harmony of the Tao. Similarly, there are two kinds of wisdom. Worldly wisdom, a conceptual understanding of experiences bound by events and preventing direct comprehension of truth. Integral wisdom, direct participation in each moment, where the observer and the observed dissolve into pure consciousness, free from concepts or mental attitudes. The blessings and wisdom of those who practice the integral way and guide others to it are 1,000,000,000 times greater than all worldly blessings and wisdom combined. The sincerity of the integral being. Do not think an integral being seeks to enlighten the unaware or elevate worldly individuals to the divine realm. To them, there is no self and other, no one to elevate, no heaven or hell, and no ultimate destination. Thus their only concern is their own sincerity, the Tao beyond form. It is tempting to see the vast luminous heavens as the body of the Tao. Yet, this is an error. If you associate the Tao with any particular form, you will never see it. Discipline and practice. Do not believe you can achieve total awareness and complete enlightenment without proper discipline and practices. That is egomania. Appropriate rituals channel your emotions and life energy toward light. Without the discipline to practice them, you will repeatedly fall back into darkness. Here lies the great secret. Just as elevated awareness of subtle truth is attained through virtuous conduct and constant discipline, it is also maintained through them. Highly evolved beings understand and respect this truth. The limitations of language. Words cannot convey the beauty of a tree. To understand it, you must see it with your own eyes. Language cannot capture the melody of a song. To understand it, you must hear it with your own ears. The same is true of the Tao. The only way to understand it is to experience it directly. The universe's subtle truth is inexpressible and unthinkable. Thus, supreme teachings are not words themselves, but a prescription, not a destination, but a map. When you arrive, silence your mind and close your mouth. Do not analyze the Tao. Instead, strive to live it silently and harmoniously with your whole being. The omnipresence of the Tao. The Tao neither comes nor goes. It is always present everywhere, like the sky. If your mind is clouded, you will not see it, but that does not mean it is not there. Any unhappiness is created by the mind's activity. If you abandon words, ideas, attitudes, and expectations, the Tao will appear. If you remain calm and look inward, you will find the truth always available and always sensitive. Ego and perception. The ego claims the world is vast and its particles are tiny. When the particles come together, the vast world appears. When they disperse, the particles return. The ego is fixated on names and ideas, but the subtle truth is that world and particle are the same. Neither is vast, nor is the other small. Everything is equal to everything else. Names and concepts only block your perception of this great unity. It is wise to ignore them. Those trapped in their egos are constantly perplexed, struggling to decide whether things are large or small, purposeful or random, mechanical or divine. In reality, there is no basis for such beliefs or comments. Look beyond them, and you will discern the profound, silent, and complete truth of the Tao. Accept it fully, and your perplexity will vanish. Unity in all things. Just as the world reveals itself as particles, the Tao reveals itself as human beings. Though the world and particles are not the same, neither are they different. Likewise, the cosmic body and your body are not the same, but neither are they different. Worlds and particles, bodies and beings, time and space are all transient expressions of the invisible and ungraspable Tao. It is beyond analysis or classification, yet its truth is wherever you go. If you let it depart from your mind and embrace it with your heart, it will live within you forever. Cycles of manifestation. All things in the universe move subtly between the unmanifest and the manifest. The process is the same for a star as it is for a person. First, subtle energy exists. Then it becomes manifest and takes life. After some time, life ends. But the subtle energy continues, either returning to the subtle realm or rejoining manifest things. Your existence is determined by the energies you connect with. If you attach yourself to coarse energies, loving one person, hating a group, rejecting an experience, or indulging in another, you will lead heavy, chained lives. This cycle can persist for a long and tedious time. The integral being connects to the highest energies, clinging to what is refined and subtle. Moving lightly and without attachment, they traverse the refined realms. Even if they enter the world, they do so effortlessly, never leaving the universe's center. Inner perception and immortality. Intellectual knowledge exists in and around the brain, which is part of the body and will one day perish. However, inner perception is a function of the spirit, which transcends life, death, and rebirth cycles. Over time, inner perception becomes pure, steady, and unchanging. This is the beginning of immortality. Path to immortality and achieving immortality and experiencing absolute joy and freedom forever is possible. Practicing indiscriminate virtue is the means to this end. By practicing kindness and generosity, your life naturally harmonizes with the integral way. As you align with the integral way, you dissolve illusory barriers between people and societies, darkness and light, life and death. Eliminating these illusions brings you into the company of supreme spiritual beings. In their presence, you are shielded from negative influences, and your vital energy remains indissoluble. This is how immortality is attained. Remember, those who cultivate their fullness may still face difficulties in life, but they understand that challenges are the path to immortality. By facing them calmly and openly, they grow and evolve, becoming as natural, complete, and eternal as the Tao itself. A superior person cares for the well-being of all things. They do so by taking responsibility for the energy they manifest, both actively and in the subtle realm. When looking at a tree, they do not see an isolated phenomenon but roots, trunk, water, soil, and sun. Each phenomenon interconnected. with the tree arising from this state of relationship. Viewing themselves in the same way, they see trees, animals, humans, birds, insects, and flowers as active images of the subtle energies flowing from the stars through the universe, combining with Earth's elements to bring forth all living things. The superior person understands this and recognizes their own energy's role in it. Acknowledging this, they respect the earth as their mother, the sky as their father, and all living beings as their siblings. Caring for them, they care for themselves. Giving to them, they give to themselves. At peace with them, they are always at peace within themselves. Why chase after the truth? It vibrates in everything and every non-thing. From the tip of your nose, you can remain calm and see the truth in the mountain, the pine, and yourself. Do not believe you will discover it by accumulating more knowledge. Knowledge breeds doubt, and doubt creates a hunger for more knowledge, which cannot satisfy you. The wise person nourishes themselves with something subtler, the understanding that what has a name was born from what has no name, that all being flows from non-being, and that the describable world emanates from an indescribable source. They find this subtle truth within themselves and become fully satisfied. Thus, those who can stay calm and observe the chessboard of the world understand that fools make impulsive moves, but the wise see that victory and defeat are determined by something subtler. They know there is perfection before any move is made. This subtle perfection diminishes with artificial actions. Therefore, be content not to disturb the peace. Remain silent, discover harmony within yourself, and fully accept it. If you can do this, you will gain everything and the world will heal again. If not, you will be forever lost in the shadows. If you seek the great Creator, you will return empty-handed. The origin of the universe is ultimately unknowable, a great, invisible river flowing eternally through a fertile, silent, uncreated valley. This river creates all things. All things are born from the subtle realm into the manifest world through the mystical relationship of Yin and Yang. The dynamic Yang pushes forward, and the tranquil Yin is receptive. Through their integration, all things come into existence. This is known as the great Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the integral truth of the universe. Everything is a Tai Chi. Your body, the cosmic body, forms, appearances, wisdom, energy, human unions, and the dispersion of time and space. All are born through the integration of Yin and Yang, maintained and dispersed without the direction of any creator. Your creation, self-transformation, energy accumulation, and wisdom, the decline and end of your body, all these occur naturally through the subtle workings of the universe. Thus, there is no need for frantic effort. Simply be aware of the great Tai Chi. The natural laws of the universe are inviolable. Energy condenses into substance, food is consumed through the mouth and not the nose, and a person who forgets to breathe turns blue and dies. These truths cannot be discarded. It is also part of the cosmic law that what you say and do determines what happens in your life. The ordinary person thinks this law is external and feels confined and controlled by it. Their desires disturb their mind disturbs their spirit, and they live in constant agitation with themselves and the world, spending their lives in struggle. The superior person recognizes that they and the subtle law are one and the same. Thus they develop in accordance with it, acting with moderation and clearing their mind. By doing so, they find harmony with all that is divine and enlightened. They spend their days drinking serenity and breathing satisfaction. This is the deep, simple truth. You are the master of your life and death. What you do is what you are. Good and bad, self and others, life and death. Why affirm these concepts? Why deny them? Doing either exercises the mind. The integral being knows that the mind's manipulations are dreams, mirages, and shadows. Hold one idea and another will oppose it. Soon you will both be in conflict with a third, and over time your entire life will become chatter and contradiction. Instead, strive to keep your mind undivided. Dissolve all ideas into the Tao. Nothing is absolute in the realm of thoughts or ideologies. If you lean too long on one, it collapses. For this reason, there is nothing more futile or frustrating than relying on the mind to reach the unshakable. To attain it, befriend the Tao. To do so, silence your thoughts. Stop dividing and distinguishing one thing from another. Simply see yourself within the universe and accept all things and beings as part of your infinite body. When you realize that what you do to another you do to yourself, you have understood the great truth. In ancient times, people lived holistic lives. They did not overemphasize the intellect, but integrated mind, body, and spirit in all things. This allowed them to become masters of knowledge rather than victims of concepts. When a new invention appeared, they explored its problems as well as its advantages. They valued ancient methods proven effective and appreciated new methods if they demonstrated their worth. If you wish to cease being confused, emulate the ancients. Unify your body, mind, and spirit in everything you do. Choose food, clothing, and shelter according to nature. Trust your own body to move you. Let your work and leisure be the same thing. Engage in activities that develop your whole being, not just your body. Listen to music that connects the three spheres of your being. Select leaders based on their virtue, not their wealth or power. Serve others while developing yourself. Understand that true growth comes from facing and resolving life's challenges in harmony with yourself and others. By following these simple, ancient ways, you will be continually renewed. 44. This is the nature of the unenlightened mind. Sensory organs, limited in their range and capacity, randomly gather information. This partial information becomes judgments based on prior judgments, which in turn are often rooted in the irrational ideas of others. These false concepts and ideas accumulate into a highly selective memory system, distortion upon distortion. Mental energy constantly flows through deformed and inadequate channels, and the more the mind is used, the more confused one becomes. To eliminate the contrariness of the mind, doing something is of no use. This only reinforces the mind's mechanisms. Instead, dissolving the mind is a matter of not doing. Simply avoid clinging to what you see and think. Let go of the concept that you are separate from the omniscient mind of the universe. Then you can reclaim your pure inner perception and see through all illusions. By knowing nothing, you will be aware of everything. Remember that clarity and enlightenment are within your own nature. They are restored without moving an inch. 45. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will harmonize. This is because the mind governs human life. If a river flows clearly and cleanly through its proper channel, all along its banks will flourish. The integral path depends on decrease, not increase. To correct your mind, trust in not doing. Stop obsessing over complications and attachments. Keep your mind detached and whole. Eliminate mental opacity and darkness. Keep your mind as clear as crystal. Avoid fantasizing, and let your pure inner perception emerge. Calm your emotions and dwell in serenity. Do not strive in the worship of idols, images, or ideas. Doing so is like placing a new head atop the one you already have. Remember, if you can stop all your relentless activity, your integral nature will emerge. 46. The original Tao, or the One, gives rise to Yin and Yang. Yin and Yang give rise to all things. Now forget this. Complete wholeness is complete wholeness. Therefore, each part is also complete wholeness. Forget this too. Pain and happiness are mere states of the ego. Forget the ego. Time and space are mutable and dissolve. They are neither permanent nor real. They may be considered as accessories, but do not dwell on them. Formless supernatural beings extend their vital force throughout the universe, supporting both formed and unformed beings. But do not concern yourself with this. The supernatural is simply part of nature, just as the natural is. Subtle truth emphasizes neither and includes both. All truth is found in Tai Chi. Cultivate the mind, body, and spirit. Simply balance the polarities. If people understood this, world peace and universal harmony would naturally arise. But forget everything about understanding, harmonizing, and unifying. The universe is already a harmonious unity. Simply become aware of it. If you grasp for inner peace, you will lose your inner peace. 47. Dualistic thinking is a disease. Religion is a distortion. Materialism is cruel. Blind spirituality is unreal. Chanting is no more sacred than listening to a brook's murmur. Fingering rosary beads is no more sacred than simply breathing. Religious habits are no more spiritual than work clothes. If you wish to unite with the Tao, do not get caught up in superficial spiritualities. Instead, live a quiet and simple life, free of ideas and concepts. Find satisfaction in practicing virtue without making distinctions, for this is the only true power. By giving to others generously and anonymously, radiating light into the world, and illuminating your own darkness, your virtue becomes a sanctuary for yourself and all beings. This is what I mean by embodying the Tao. 48. Do you wish to free yourself from mental and emotional knots and become one with the Tao? If so, there are two possible paths for you. The first is the path of acceptance. Affirm everything and everyone. Freely extend your goodwill and virtue in all directions regardless of circumstances. Accept all things wholeheartedly as part of the harmonious unity, and you will begin to perceive it. The second path is the path of rejection. Recognize that all you see and think is falsehood, illusion, a veil over the truth. Remove all the veils, and you will arrive at unity. Though the paths are entirely different, they lead to the same place, spontaneous awareness of the great unity. Once you reach it, remember, there is no need to struggle to maintain it. All you need to do is participate in it. 49. Thinking and talking about the integral path is not the same as practicing it. Whoever became a good rider by talking about horses? If you wish to embody the Tao, stop chattering and begin practicing. Relax your body and calm your senses. Return your mind to its original clarity. Forget all about being separate from others and the divine source. When you return to unity, do not think about it or dwell on it. This is simply another way to separate yourself from it. Simply merge into the truth and let it surround you. 50. What is the purpose of spending your life accumulating material things? This is not following the Tao. What benefit is there in conforming your behavior to someone else's conventions? This violates your nature and dissipates your energy. Why separate your spiritual life from your ordinary life? For an integral being, this distinction does not exist. Live simply and virtuously, being true to your nature without drawing lines between what is spiritual and what is not. Ignore time, abandon ideas and concepts, and wholeheartedly accept unity. This is the integral path. 51. Those who wish to understand the truth of the universe must practice the four cardinal virtues. The first is reverence for all life, which manifests as unconditional love and respect for oneself and all beings. The second is natural sincerity, which manifests as honesty, simplicity, and loyalty. The third is gentleness, which manifests as kindness, consideration for others, and sensitivity to spiritual truth. The fourth is a supportive attitude, which manifests as service to others without expectation of reward. These four virtues are not external doctrines, but part of your original nature. When practiced, they give rise to wisdom and evoke the five blessings: health, wealth, happiness, longevity, and peace. 52. Do you think you can clarify your mind by constantly sitting in silent meditation? This makes your mind narrow, not clear. Integral awareness is fluid and joyful. It is present in all places and at all times. That is true meditation. Who can achieve clarity and simplicity by fleeing the world? The Tao is clear and simple and does not flee from the world. Why not limit yourself to simply honoring your parents, loving your children, helping your brothers and sisters, being loyal to your friends, caring for your partner with devotion, completing your work cooperatively and joyfully, taking responsibility for problems, practicing virtue without demanding it first of others, and understanding supreme truths while maintaining an ordinary way of proceeding? That would be true clarity, true simplicity, true mastery. 53. True understanding in a person has two attributes: awareness and action. Together, they form a natural wholeness. Who can enjoy enlightenment and remain indifferent to the world's suffering? This is not in harmony with the way. Only those who increase their service alongside their understanding can be called men and women of the Tao. 54. In ancient times, holistic sciences were developed by highly evolved beings to enable their own evolution and that of others. These subtle arts were created through the union of individual minds with the universal mind. They are still taught by traditional masters to those who manifest virtue and wish to help others. A student who seeks and studies this teaching fosters humanity's evolution and their own spiritual development. A student who ignores these teachings hinders the development of all beings. 55. The holistic practices of ancient masters encompass science, art, and personal spiritual development. Mind, body, and spirit are equally integral. These include Yi, the science of healing, including diagnosis, acupuncture, medicinal plants, therapeutic diets, and other methods. Yang Ming, the science of predicting a person's destiny by observing physical symptoms on their face, skeleton, palms, and voice. Feng Shui, the science of discerning subtle energy rays in a geographical area to determine its suitability for buildings or cities. Cuba, observing yin and yang alterations to make harmonious decisions with both manifest and hidden aspects of a situation. This is the foundation of the I Ching and Taoist practice. Maidan, Bailan, and Feng Hong, sciences for refining personal energy through alchemy, chemistry, and balanced sexual energy development. Tai Chi, revitalization through breathing techniques and visualization. Song Su, transforming spiritual essence by aligning thoughts with the divine source. Su She, harmonizing daily life with the cycles of universal energy rays. Bi Gu, fasting on specific days to gather vital energy from the harmonized positions of certain stars. Shaoyi, fully accepting the ascending unity to realize the concept of the mystic pearl. Tai Chi Chuan, physical exercises to induce and direct energy flows within the body, mastering life and death. Fu, refining energy through pure foods and medicinal herbs. Xuan, internal visualization of unity within oneself. Beijing, purifying energy through aesthetic practices. Junyong, drawing mystical images and reciting invocations to elicit responses from subtle universal realms. And Shan, dissolving the ego and connecting with unity through classical scriptures and daily dialogue with an enlightened teacher. Yobian, mystical sciences for articulating energy to influence external events. Of all these, the most important for beginners is studying the I Ching, which reveals hidden influences in every situation, helping establish balanced and spiritually evolved responses. All these are tools to reach the Tao. Studying them contributes to universal unity, harmony, and wisdom. 56. If you wish to become a person of the Tao, study what serves the nature of life and offer it to the world. Let your devotion learn the Taoist means of being whole. Partial practice and discipline will not suffice. You cannot understand the body by studying a single finger, nor comprehend the universe by learning one science. If you enthusiastically study the totality of the Tao, all aspects of your life will reflect it. 57. The universe is a vast network of energy rays. The principal ray emanates from the subtle origin and is wholly positive, creative, and constructive. However, each being converts this principal ray into their own ray, which can be positive or negative, constructive or destructive. An undeveloped individual may be adversely affected by negative energy rays in the surrounding network. For example, the combined influence of several negative rays may lead such a person to believe their life is controlled by an invisible, oppressive ruler, an error that can be a significant barrier to enlightenment. To achieve full evolution and become an integral being, you must become aware of this complex network and its influences. By integrating positive, harmonious rays with your own positive elements and eliminating subtle negative influences, you can enhance every aspect of your life. To eliminate negative influences, simply ignore them. To integrate positive influences, consciously reconnect with the principal energy ray from the subtle origin. By adopting the practices of the integral path, all the rays in your surrounding network will merge back into harmonious unity. 58. Unless the mind, body, and spirit are equally developed and fully integrated, no spiritual peak or state of enlightenment can be maintained. This is why extreme religions and ideologies fail to bear fruit. When the mind and spirit are forced through artificial austerities or adherence to external dogmas, the body becomes sick and weak, betraying the whole being. When the body is emphasized to the exclusion of mind and spirit, the result is like trapped serpents, frenzied, explosive, and poisonous to oneself. All these imbalances inevitably deplete and extinguish the life force. True personal development involves the holistic integration of mind, body, and spirit. By balancing yin and yang through various practices of the integral path, complete unity is achieved within and without. This manifests in the world as perfect balance and grace. 59. The craving for enlightenment and immortality is no different from the craving for material wealth. It is selfish and dualistic, and therefore an obstacle to true realization. These states are never achieved by those who covet them. Instead, they are the reward of virtuous individuals. If you wish to become a divine, immortal being, restore the angelic qualities of your essence through virtue and service. This is the only way to gain the attention of immortals who teach the methods of increasing the energy and integration necessary to reach the divine realm. These angelic teachers cannot be sought, they seek the student. When you connect your energy with the divine realm through elevated awareness and the practice of virtue without exception, the transmission of essential subtle truths arrives. This is the path all angels take to the divine realm. 60. The mystical techniques for achieving immortality are revealed only to those who have dissolved all ties to the dense, worldly realm of duality, conflict, and dogma. As long as superficial worldly ambitions exist within you, the door will remain closed. Dedicate yourself to living a virtuous, integrated, and generous life. Purify your energy by transmuting the dense and heavy into the subtle and luminous. Use the practices of the integral path to transform your superficial worldly personality into a profound divine presence. By passing through each stage of development along the integral path, you will learn to value what is important in the subtle realm instead of what appears desirable in the worldly realm. Then the mystical door will open, and you will meet the rulers who do not rule and the creators who do not create in the vast universe. 61. To understand the universe, you must study and comprehend these things: unity, the Tao, the great Tai Chi, the great Two, the forces of Yin and Yang, the three primary categories expressed as heaven, earth, and humanity, or as body, mind, and spirit. The four forces, strong, weak, light, and heavy. The five elements, symbolized by water, fire, wood, metal, and earth. The six breaths, winds, cold, heat, humidity, dryness, and inflammation that transform weather and internal organs. The processes of change and the repetition of cycles. The eight great manifestations, heaven, earth, water, fire, thunder, lake, wind, and mountain, combinations of which reveal the subtle energetic truth of all situations, as taught in the I Ching. By understanding these, you can apply them internally to abandon what is old and dead and wholeheartedly embrace what is new and alive. Once you discover this process of internal alchemy, the mystical door to spiritual immortality opens. 62. If you want to achieve purity, you must understand and integrate within yourself the three primary energies of the universe. The energy of earth centered in the belly, expressed as sexuality. Those who cultivate and master physical energy achieve partial purity. The energy of heaven, centered in the mind, expressed as knowledge and wisdom. Those whose minds merge with the universal mind also achieve partial purity. Harmonized energy, centered in the heart, expressed as spiritual inner perception. Those who develop spiritual inner perception also achieve partial purity. Only when you realize mastery of all three, physical energy, the universal mind state, and spiritual inner perception, and express them in an integral, virtuous life, can you achieve true purity. 63. The universe comprises three layers. The lower layer, Tai Yin, is dense. The middle layer, Yang Jing, requires physical bodily existence. The upper layer, Tai Yang, exists only after the bond of form has been broken, where the exquisite dance of divine, immortal beings' energy remains. Those who wish to enter Tai Yang must follow the integral path. Simplify the personality, refine sexual energy by elevating it, integrate yin and yang within body, mind, and spirit, and practice reflection before action. When your awareness aligns with pure law, truth after truth will be revealed. You will enter the exquisite upper realm. This path is clearly defined and simple to follow, yet many lose their way in ideological fogs of their own making. 64. In ancient times, people lived simple, serene lives, sensitive to fluctuations, and able to adapt easily to the day's energy. Today, people lead hysterical and impulsive lives. Ignoring the subtle changes of yin and yang that influence everything, they become confused, exhausted, and frustrated. Yet even today, one can restore fullness and clarity of mind. The way to do this is through studying the I Ching. Just as day and night follow a cycle, so too does everything, incorporating the movements of yin and yang. If you do not perceive the patterns of these movements, you are lost. But by consulting the I Ching with an open mind, you will begin to see the patterns underlying all things. Knowing dawn will come allows you to rest peacefully at night. When you perceive the fluidity of things, you also begin to perceive the constancy behind them, the boundless, immutable creative force. Seeing this is the highest degree of education and comfort. 65. The interaction of yin and yang within the mysterious mother creates nature's expansion and contraction. Though the entire universe is created from this reproductive dance, it is but a tiny part of her being. Her heart is the universal heart and her mind is the universal mind. Reproductive function is also part of humans. As yin and yang are incomplete within us as individuals, we form pairs to integrate and bring forth new life. Most people spend their lives following this biological impulse, yet this is only a part of their being. If we remain obsessed with seeds and eggs, we are married to the fertile reproductive valley of the mysterious mother, but not to her boundless heart or omniscient mind. To unite with her heart and mind, you must integrate yin and yang within and purify their fire by stabilizing it. Then you will have the power to merge with the total being of the mysterious mother. This is what is known as true evolution. 66. The first integration of yin and yang is the union of seed and egg within the womb. The second integration of yin and yang is the sexual union of a mature man and woman. Both are concerned with flesh and blood, and all of this is conceivable within this realm, but one day it disintegrates and dies. It is only the third integration that gives rise to something immortal. In this integration, a highly evolved individual unites the subtle internal energies of yin and yang under the light of spiritual understanding. Through the practices of the integral path, they purify their dense and heavy energy, transforming it into something ethereal and luminous. This divine light has the ability to penetrate the vast ocean of spiritual energy and complete the wisdom of the Tao. The new life created by the final integration is self-aware but without ego, capable of inhabiting a body without attachment, guided by wisdom rather than emotion. Full of virtue, it cannot die. 67. To achieve the highest levels of life, one must continually combine new levels of yin and yang. In nature, masculine energy can be found in sources like the sun and mountains, and feminine energy in sources like the earth, the moon, and lakes. Those who study these things, hinted at here, will reap limitless benefits. As increasingly higher unions of yin and yang are necessary to conceive superior life, some students may be instructed in the art of dual cultivation, where yin and yang are directly integrated through the sexual relationship of Tai Chi. If the student is not authentically virtuous, and the instruction is not from a true master, dual cultivation can have a destructive effect. However, when genuine virtue and true mastery are combined, the practice can generate a true balance between the student's dense and subtle energies. This results in strengthened health, harmonized emotions, the cessation of desires and impulses, and, at the highest level, the transcendent integration of the entire energy body. 68. In angelic learning, one also learns to follow the Tao. To approach the Tao, you will need utmost sincerity, for it is elusive in its revelation. At first, it takes form and later dissolves into subtle, indefinable essence. Although it is uncreated, it creates all things. Being without substance, it can enter where there is no space. By exercising self-return and achieving victories through peaceful surrender, it surpasses anything hard, being softer than anything else. What does all this tell you about the benefit of non-action and silence? 69. A person's approach to sexuality reflects their level of evolution. Unevolved people practice ordinary sexual relations, placing all emphasis on sexual organs while neglecting other organs and systems of the body. Any accumulated physical energy is quickly discharged, and similarly, subtle energies are dissipated and disordered. This is a great setback for those aspiring to higher realms of life. Angelic dual cultivation exists, as every part of the body, mind, and spirit yearns for the integration of yin and yang. Angelic relationships are directed by spirit rather than sexual organs. While ordinary relationships are full of effort, angelic learning is calm, relaxed, silent, and natural. Ordinary relationships unite one sexual organ with another. Angelic learning unites spirit with spirit, mind with mind, and every cell of one body with every cell of another. It culminates not in dissolution but in integration, offering an opportunity for man and woman to transform and elevate each other to the realm of bliss and fulfillment. The sacred methods of angelic relationships are taught only by one who has achieved total energy integration within themselves, and are shared only with students who follow the integral path with deep devotion, seeking to purify and bring peace to the world as well as themselves. However, if your virtue shines especially bright, it is possible to open a path to the subtle realm and receive these heavenly teachings directly from the immortals. 70. The threads of passion and desire weave a net around you that traps you. Confrontations with the world make you rigid and inflexible, ensnaring you in the trap of duality. Bound tightly and trapped, you cannot experience liberation. Through dual cultivation, it is possible to unravel the net, soften rigidity, and dismantle the trap. By dissolving your yin energy into the source of universal life and drawing yang energy from the same source, you leave behind individuality and your life becomes pure nature, free of ego. Living naturally and working virtuously, you are filled with inexhaustible vitality and liberated forever from the cycle of death and rebirth. Understand at least this: spiritual freedom and unity with the Tao are not random gifts, but the rewards of conscious transformation and evolution. 71. The transformation toward eternal life is gradual, and the dense and heavy energy of the body, mind, and spirit must first be purified and elevated. When energy ascends to the subtle level, mastery of the self can be pursued. A wise instructor teaches the powerful principles of self-integration only to those who have already achieved a high level of self-purification and self-mastery. Moreover, all appropriate teachings follow the law of energy's response. The most effective method is always the one that aligns most harmoniously with the student's natural energy. For one, celibacy and self-cultivation may be suitable. For another, the greatest benefit will come from guided dual cultivation. A discerning teacher determines the proper balance of practices for each person. In any case, you must understand that all teachers and techniques are temporary. True realization arises from the direct fusion of your being with the divine energy of the Tao. 72. If you wish to gain merit and become one with the divine, then develop your virtue and extend it to the world. Abandon fanciful theologies and imaginary ideas and engage in some ordinary daily work such as healing. Abandon all conflict and struggle, practice unwavering kindness and endless patience, and avoid following impulses and ambitions that destroy the fullness of your mind and separate you from the integral path. Never obsess over circumstances, nor should you abandon awareness of them. To guide your mind, you must realize that nothing truly exists. Therefore, let go of all attachment to nothingness itself. 73. The master cannot help the student while the student's spirit is contaminated. The purification of spiritual contamination is not the responsibility of the master, but of the student. This purification is achieved by offering the world one's talents, resources, and life. A healthy student may also offer their pure energy to the master and the immortal angels who surround them, while a diminished student can at least provide food, wine, or services. When one gives freely, without holding back, the barriers of individuality are broken. Then it is no longer possible to tell whether the student is offering themselves to the master or the master to the student. Only two immaculate beings reflecting each other like a pair of shining mirrors. 74. Some draw their energy from worshipping divine beings and meditating on them. If you feel inclined to worship, revere the following. Revere the heavens and the sun, the repository of yang, and the moon, the repository of yin. Revere the spiritual centers of men and women who are angelic in every sense. Revere the 8 great manifestations: heaven, earth, water, fire, thunder, lake, wind, and mountain. Revere the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, which illuminate the underlying harmony of the universe. Lastly, revere the great Tai Chi, in which all things are contained, balanced, and based. 75. I would like to free you from the lower regions of life. Would you like to save the world from the degradation and destruction to which it seems destined? Withdraw, then, from the superficial movements of the masses and silently work on your own consciousness of being. If you wish to awaken all of humanity, awaken yourself. If you wish to eliminate the world's suffering, eliminate all that is dark within you. Indeed, the greatest gift you have to offer is your own transformation. Find a master who is an integral being, a beacon extending their light and virtue with equanimity to those who appreciate them and to those who do not. Rest in their mold, absorb their nourishing radiance, and reflect it to the rest of the world. You will come to understand an eternal truth. There is always a peaceful home for the virtuous. 76. Who can save the world? Perhaps someone who devoutly follows these teachings, calming their mind and ignoring all distractions, developing a heightened awareness of subtle truths, fusing their virtue with universal virtue, and extending it to the world without expectation of reward. Such a person will undoubtedly be the savior of the world. 77. Humanity grows increasingly intelligent, yet it is clear there are more problems and less happiness each day. How can this be? Because intelligence is not the same as wisdom. When society abuses partial intelligence and neglects holistic wisdom, its members forget the benefits of a simple and natural life. Seduced by their desires, emotions, and egos, they become slaves to bodily demands, luxury, power, unbalanced religion, and psychological excuses. Thus begins the reign of misfortune and confusion. However, people of superior spirit may awaken during times of turmoil to lift others from the mud. How can one liberate many? By first liberating oneself, not by elevating oneself, but by humbling oneself. By embracing simplicity, modesty, and truth, they integrate these qualities into themselves, becoming masters of them. Freed entirely from their previous false life, they rediscover their pure original nature, which is the pure nature of the universe. Freely and spontaneously emanating their divine energy, they constantly transcend complicated situations, drawing everything around them back to its integral unity. As a living divinity, when they act, the universe acts. 78. There are many partial religions, and then there is the integral path. Partial religions are desperate, cunning human intentions. The integral path is a profound expression of the pure, total, universal mind. Partial religions rely on the hypnotic manipulation of undeveloped minds. The integral path relies on the free transmission of simple, immutable, natural truth. It is a total reality, not an esoteric practice. The integral path abstains from conceptual fanaticism, extravagant lifestyles, exotic foods, and violent music, all of which disturb the serenity of the mind and obstruct spiritual development. Renouncing what is fashionable and wholeheartedly embracing what is simple, honest, and virtuous, the integral path returns you to the subtle essence of life. By adopting its practices, you will become honest, simple, true, virtuous, and complete. As you see, partial purposes lead to partial transformation, but through the integral development of self, you can achieve complete metamorphosis, transcend your emotional and biological limitations, and evolve into a higher state of being. By staying away from shadows and following this simple path, you become extraordinary and unfathomable, a being of profound cosmic subtlety. You survive time and space, realizing the subtle truth of the universe. 79. Future generations who study and practice the truth of these teachings will be blessed. They will acquire the subtle light of wisdom and the mighty sword of clarity that cuts through all obstacles, the mystical pearl of understanding that encompasses the entire universe. They will gain the inner comprehension necessary to perceive the integral truth of the Tao. Following this truth with raw sincerity, they will become it, complete, courageous, indestructible, and ineffable. 80. The world is full of half-enlightened masters, extremely intelligent but too sensitive to live in the real world. They surround themselves with selfish pleasures and grant their grandiose teachings to the unsuspecting. By prematurely seeking spiritual climaxes for public recognition, they constantly sacrifice truth and deviate from the Tao. What they truly offer the world is their own confusion. The true master understands that enlightenment is not the end, but the means. Knowing that virtue is the goal, they accept the long and often arduous cultivation necessary to reach it. They silently bear any responsibility that falls upon them, unattached to their achievements and claiming nothing. They guide the world, orienting those who come to them, sharing their divine energy, encouraging students, challenging them to grow stronger, reprimanding them to awaken and directing their lives toward the infinite ocean of the Tao. If you aspire to this kind of mastery rooted in the Tao, abandon negative habits and attitudes, strengthen your sincerity, live in the real world, and extend your virtue throughout it. Without despairing in daily life, be the most authentic parent, sibling, friend, or disciple. Humbly respect and serve your master, dedicating your entire being unwaveringly to your own evolution. You will undoubtedly achieve mastery of yourself and be capable of helping others do the same. 81. With all these words, the subtle truth may be pointed to, but it cannot be contained by them. Take time to hear what is said without words, to obey the law too subtle to be written, to revere the nameless, and to wholeheartedly accept the formless. Love your life. Trust the Tao. Make love with the invisible, subtle origin of the universe, and you will give yourself all that you need. You will not have to retreat to spiritual hideaways. You can be a kind and contemplative hermit right here in the midst of everything. Unaffected in essence, fully sustained and rewarded by your integral practices, you will inspire others, freely give to all, awaken and purify the world with every move and action. You will ascend to the divine realm in broad daylight. The breath of the Tao speaks, and those in harmony with it hear it clearly.